The morning sun streamed through the windows of the small apartment on Pine Street. Alex sat at his computer desk, adjusting his position as he worked on a logo design for his latest client. His fingers moved quickly across the keyboard, lost in the creative process that had become his new life after everything changed 3 years ago. 3 years. It still felt like yesterday when his life took a complete turn. Back then, he was serving his country overseas, full of dreams and plans for the future. But one explosion changed everything. One moment he was walking with his unit, and the next moment he woke up in a hospital bed, learning that his left leg was gone forever. The doctors were kind. The rehabilitation team was patient. But nothing could prepare him for the emotional journey that followed. Learning to walk again with a prosthetic leg was hard enough, but learning to accept himself was even harder. He spent months avoiding mirrors, wearing long pants even in summer heat, and declining invitations from friends who wanted to help. When he finally returned home, Alex knew he needed a fresh start. His old apartment held too many memories of who he used to be. So he found this new place, a cozy 2-bedroom unit where he could work from home as a freelance graphic designer. The work was good, and clients seemed happy with his designs. But the loneliness was getting to him. That's when his neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, mentioned Rosa. She was looking for work cleaning houses, and Mrs. Rodriguez had nothing but good things to say about her. Rosa was reliable, honest, and hardworking. She had been taking care of homes in the neighborhood for years, supporting her teenage daughter while her husband worked double shifts at the factory. Alex hesitated at first. Having someone in his personal space felt scary. What if she noticed something different about the way he walked? What if she asked questions he wasn't ready to answer? But his apartment was becoming a mess, and he realized he needed help whether he was comfortable with it or not. The first day Rosa came to work was awkward for Alex. He made sure to wear his best jeans and walked as normally as possible when he greeted her at the door. She was a woman in her 40s with kind eyes and a warm smile. Her English was accented but clear, and she spoke with confidence about her cleaning experience. "Don't worry about me," she said as she brought in her cleaning supplies. "I work quietly. You won't even know I'm here." And she was right. Rosa had a way of moving through the apartment like a gentle breeze. Alex would hear the soft sounds of cleaning in other rooms while he worked at his desk. She never interrupted him during important calls with clients, and she always made sure to clean around his workspace without disturbing his papers. Their conversations were brief and polite. Rosa would arrive at 9 in the morning on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. She would greet Alex with a cheerful "good morning" and get straight to work. Alex would usually be heading out for client meetings or coffee shop work sessions, so their paths crossed only for a few minutes each day. "Have a good day," Rosa would say as Alex gathered his laptop bag and headed for the door. "Thank you, Rosa. See you Wednesday," he would reply, making sure his steps sounded normal as he walked to his car. What Alex didn't know was that Rosa had already noticed small things. The way he sometimes paused before standing up. The fact that all his pants were long, even on the hottest summer days. The special shower chair in his bathroom that looked medical. The way he arranged his furniture with wider paths for walking. But Rosa was wise enough to understand that everyone has their private struggles. Her own husband had returned from military service years ago with invisible wounds that took time to heal. She learned that the best way to show respect was to give people space to share when they were ready. As weeks passed, Alex began to feel more comfortable with the arrangement. Rosa was dependable and professional. She never moved his things without asking, never went through his personal belongings, and always left the apartment spotless. Most importantly, she never made him feel judged or different. Alex established a routine that made him feel secure. Every morning before Rosa arrived, he would make sure he was dressed properly with his prosthetic securely attached. He would usually leave for work before she started cleaning and return after she had gone. Home, This schedule worked perfectly for both of them. Rosa appreciated having consistent work with someone who treated her with respect. Alex always paid her on time, never complained about her work, and even gave her a Christmas bonus that helped buy her daughter's school supplies. Their professional relationship was comfortable and predictable, but Alex's carefully constructed routine was about to face its first real test. Changes were coming that neither of them expected, and the comfortable distance they had maintained was about to disappear in a way that would surprise them both. Alex had no idea that his need for privacy was about to collide with an unexpected situation. Rosa had no idea that her simple act of being helpful would lead to a moment that would change how they saw each other forever. Sometimes life has a way of pushing people together when they least expect it, creating connections that neither person saw coming. The stage was set for an encounter that would teach both of them something important about courage, acceptance, and the unexpected ways that strangers can become sources of understanding in our lives. Tuesday started like any other day for Alex. He woke up early, attached his prosthetic leg, and got ready for what was supposed to be a busy day. His biggest client, a local restaurant chain, had scheduled an important meeting to review the new logo designs he had been working on for weeks. This was the kind of project that could really help his business grow. Alex put on his best shirt and grabbed his portfolio bag. He double-checked that all his design files were saved on his laptop. This meeting was too important to mess up. The restaurant owner had been impressed with Alex's previous work and was considering hiring him for a complete branding package. That kind of contract could pay his bills for months. As he drove across town to the restaurant, Alex felt confident. His designs were strong, creative, and exactly what the client had requested. He had prepared for every possible question they might ask. Nothing could go wrong today. But sometimes life has other plans. Alex arrived at the restaurant 15 minutes early, just as he always did. He liked to be prepared and professional. The receptionist greeted him with a smile and asked him to wait in the lobby. Alex sat down, organized his papers one more time, and practiced his presentation in his head. 10 minutes later, the receptionist approached him with an apologetic look. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Alex," she said. "The owner had a family emergency and had to leave suddenly. His mother fell and had to go to the hospital. He asked me to reschedule your meeting for next week." Alex felt disappointed but tried to stay positive. Family emergencies happen, and he respected the owner for putting his mother first. "Of course, no problem at all," Alex said. "I hope his mother is okay. Please let him know we can meet whenever. It's convenient for him." The drive home felt strange. Alex wasn't used to having unexpected free time in the middle of the day. Usually, his schedule was packed with meetings, work sessions at coffee shops, or visits to printing companies. But today, he found himself pulling into his apartment parking lot at 2 in the afternoon with nothing urgent to do. Meanwhile, across town, Rosa was having her own unexpected day. She had just finished cleaning Mrs. Chen's house and was getting ready to go home when her phone rang. The caller ID showed her daughter's school number, which always made her heart race a little. "Hello, this is Rosa," she answered quickly. "Mrs. Rosa, this is Principal Johnson from Lincoln High School. Your daughter Lisa is fine, but there's been an incident we need to discuss with you. Can you come to school as soon as possible?" Rosa's mind immediately went to the worst possibilities. Was Lisa hurt? Was she in trouble? Had something serious happened? "What kind of incident? Is my daughter okay?" "She's perfectly safe," the principal assured her. "There was a situation with some other students, and we need a parent here before we can release her for the day. It's nothing dangerous, but it's our policy." Rosa looked at her watch. It was only 2:30 in the afternoon, and she wasn't supposed to pick up Lisa until after school ended at 3:45. This was definitely not normal. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, she said, already gathering her cleaning supplies. In her rush to get to the school, Rosa's mind was focused entirely on her daughter. She threw her supplies into her car, locked Mrs. Chen's house, and drove quickly but carefully to Lincoln High School. As a mother, Nothing was more important than making sure Lisa was safe and handling whatever situation had come up. It wasn't until Rosa was sitting in the principal's office that she realized what had happened. Lisa hadn't done anything wrong. Actually, she had done something very right. She had stood up to a group of students who were bullying a younger kid. The incident was that Lisa had gotten into an argument with the bullies when she told them to stop picking on the smaller student. "Your daughter showed real character today," Principal Johnson explained. "She saw something wrong and tried to make it right. But our policy requires parent notification when students get involved in any kind of conflict, even when they're trying to help." Rosa felt proud of Lisa, but also relieved that it wasn't serious. They talked with the principal for another 30 minutes, making sure Lisa understood both the importance of standing up for others and the need to get adults involved in serious situations. By the time Rosa and Lisa got back to the car, it was almost 4:30. Rosa suddenly remembered that she had left her house keys on Alex's kitchen counter that morning. She had been carrying a heavy bag of cleaning supplies and had set her keys down while she organized her things. In all the confusion about Lisa's school situation, she had completely forgotten to pick them up. "Mom, what's wrong?" Lisa asked, noticing her mother's worried expression. "I left my keys at work," Rosa explained. "We can't get into our apartment until I go back and get them." Rosa drove toward Alex's neighborhood, hoping he might still be out at his afternoon meetings. She knew he usually didn't come home until after 6 p.m. on meeting days. If she could slip in quickly, grab her keys and leave, it wouldn't disturb his routine at all. But as Rosa pulled into Alex's parking lot, she saw his car in its usual spot. The apartment windows showed lights on inside. He was definitely home, much earlier than usual. Rosa sat in her car for a moment, debating what to do. She really needed those keys, but she didn't want to bother Alex when he wasn't expecting her. After a few minutes of thinking, Rosa decided to call Alex's phone and explain the situation. But when she tried calling, it went straight to voicemail. His phone was probably on silent mode while he worked on his designs. Rosa looked at her watch. It was getting late, and Lisa was tired from the stressful day at school. They needed to get home so Lisa could do her homework and Rosa could start dinner. The longer she waited, the more complicated everything would become. Finally, Rosa made a decision. She would use her spare key to enter the apartment quietly, grab her keys from the kitchen counter, and leave immediately. Alex was probably wearing headphones while working on his computer, like he often did. She could be in and out in 2 minutes without disturbing him at all. It seemed like a simple plan. Rosa had no way of knowing that this simple decision would lead to a moment that would change everything between them. Rosa took a deep breath and quietly inserted her spare key into Alex's front door. She turned it slowly, trying not to make any noise. The door opened with barely a sound. She stepped inside carefully, leaving the door slightly open behind her, so she could make a quick exit. The apartment felt different in the late afternoon light. Usually when Rosa worked here, the morning sun filled the rooms with bright, cheerful energy. Now, with the sun setting, everything looked softer and more peaceful. She could hear the gentle hum of Alex's computer from his home office, which meant he was probably deep in his design work. Rosa moved quietly toward the kitchen, where she remembered leaving her keys next to the coffee maker. Her footsteps were silent on the carpet as she walked through the living room. She had cleaned this apartment so many times that she could probably navigate it with her eyes closed. But as Rosa reached the kitchen, something caught her attention. There was a light coming from Alex's bedroom, and she could hear what sounded like movement inside. This was unusual because Alex usually worked in his office, not in his bedroom. Rosa paused, suddenly worried. What if someone had broken into the apartment? What if Alex was in danger? The thought made her heart race. She had heard stories about break-ins in the neighborhood, and Alex lived alone. If something was wrong, he might need help. Rosa stood frozen in the hallway, listening. Carefully. She heard more movement from the bedroom, but she couldn't tell if it was Alex or someone else. The sounds weren't alarming, but they were definitely there. Should she call out? Should she leave immediately? Should she call the police? Her motherly instincts kicked in. Just like she had protected other people's homes for years, she felt responsible for making sure Alex was safe. If there was a problem, running away wouldn't help him. But if she was wrong and Alex was just having a quiet evening, she didn't want to scare him by announcing herself. Rosa decided to check carefully. She walked softly toward the bedroom and noticed that the door was slightly open. She could see the warm glow of a bedside lamp spilling into the hallway. The movements she heard seemed calm, not like someone searching through belongings or causing trouble. She approached the door quietly and listened for a moment. Then she heard a sound that made her feel both relieved and confused. Alex was talking to himself, the way people sometimes do when they're tired or frustrated. She couldn't make out the words, but the voice was definitely his. Rosa felt relieved that Alex was safe, but now she was in an awkward position. She was standing outside his bedroom door, and he didn't know she was in the apartment. How could she get her keys and leave without startling him? Maybe she should just call out from the living room and explain why she was there. But before Rosa could decide what to do, she heard Alex's voice more clearly. He sounded frustrated, like he was struggling with something. There was a soft thud, like something had fallen on the floor, followed by a quiet sound that might have been Alex sighing in annoyance. Rosa's concern returned. What if Alex had hurt himself? What if he had fallen or was having some kind of problem? She knew he was a private person, but if he needed help, she couldn't just walk away. She had to make sure he was okay. "Mr. Alex," Rosa called out softly, knocking gently on the bedroom doorframe. "Are you all right? I came back for my keys and I heard noises. I wanted to make sure you're safe." There was sudden silence from inside the room. Then Alex's voice, sounding surprised and a little confused. "Rosa, is that you? What time is it?" "I'm sorry to bother you," Rosa said through the door. "I left my keys in the kitchen this morning, and I need them to get into my apartment. I tried to call, but your phone didn't answer. I was worried when I heard sounds from your room." Alex's voice came back, still sounding groggy and disoriented. "Oh, I must have fallen asleep. I came home early today and decided to rest for a while. My phone is probably on silent mode." Rosa felt embarrassed for waking him up, but also relieved that nothing was wrong. "I'm so sorry I woke you. I'll just grab my keys and leave right away. Go back to sleep." No, it's okay," Alex said, his voice clearer now. "Come in, Rosa. I should have been awake anyway. I have more work to finish tonight." Rosa hesitated. She had never been in Alex's bedroom before, and it felt too personal. "I can wait in the living room while you get up," she offered. "It's fine, really," Alex said, sounding more awake. "I'm already sitting up. Come in so we can talk properly instead of shouting through the door." Rosa slowly pushed the door open and stepped into the bedroom. The warm lamplight made everything look cozy and comfortable. Alex was sitting on the edge of his bed, running his hands through his messy hair and blinking as his eyes adjusted to being awake. But as Rosa looked at Alex, her eyes naturally moved downward, and suddenly she saw something that made her freeze in complete shock. Where Alex's left leg should have been, there was nothing. His prosthetic leg was sitting on the floor beside the bed, clearly visible in the lamplight. For a moment, time seemed to stop completely. Rosa stared in surprise, her mind trying to process what she was seeing. All those months of working in his apartment, all those brief conversations, all those times she had noticed small things but never asked questions. Suddenly, everything made sense. Alex followed Rosa's gaze and realized what had happened. His eyes went wide with panic as he understood that his most carefully guarded secret was now completely visible. The secret he had worked so hard to keep private, the part of himself he wasn't ready to share with anyone, was right there in the open. Both of them sat in stunned silence, neither knowing what to say or do next. Rosa's mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. Alex's face turned red with embarrassment as he reached toward his prosthetic, trying to cover it or put it back on quickly. The moment stretched on, filled with shock, surprise, and the sudden realization that their comfortable professional relationship had just changed forever. Neither of them had expected this to happen, and neither of them knew how to handle the emotions flooding through them. In that quiet bedroom, with the late afternoon light fading outside, two people who had kept their distance for months suddenly found themselves facing a moment of unexpected truth that would change everything between them. The silence in the room felt like it lasted forever, but it was probably only a few seconds. Rosa stood there, her hand still on the door frame, trying to find the right words. Alex sat on the edge of his bed, his face red with embarrassment, reaching for a blanket to cover himself. "I'm so sorry," Rosa finally whispered, her voice barely audible. "I didn't mean to. I was just worried about you. I should leave right now." She started to turn away, but Alex's voice stopped her. "Wait," he said quietly. "Please don't go. This is not how I wanted anyone to find out, but since you're here—" His voice trailed off, and he looked down at his hands. Rosa turned, back slowly, her heart aching for the pain she could see in Alex's eyes. "You don't have to explain anything to me," she said gently. "Everyone has things they keep private. I understand." Alex looked up at her, surprised by the kindness in her voice. He had expected shock, maybe even disgust or pity, but Rosa's face showed only concern and respect. You're not scared or disgusted?" he asked hesitantly. "Scared? Of what?" Rosa asked, stepping a little closer but still maintaining a respectful distance. "You're the same person you were this morning when I said goodbye to you. Nothing has changed except now I know something about you that you weren't ready to share." Alex felt some of the tension leave his shoulders. He had spent so many months imagining how people would react if they discovered his secret. In his worst fears, people would treat him differently, look at him with pity, or see him as broken. But Rosa's reaction was nothing like what he had feared. "I lost it 3 years ago," Alex said quietly, his eyes focused on his prosthetic leg on the floor. "I was serving overseas when our convoy hit an explosive device. I was lucky to survive, but my left leg, it couldn't be saved." Rosa sat down carefully in the chair near Alex's desk, giving him space but showing that she was willing to listen. "That must have been incredibly difficult," she said softly. "Not just the physical part, but everything that came after." Alex nodded, feeling surprised by how easy it was to talk to Rosa about this. For 3 years, he had avoided these conversations, changed the subject when people asked about his military service, and built his entire life around keeping this secret. But something about Rosa's calm presence made him feel safe to share. "The doctors were amazing," Alex continued. "The prosthetic works well, and I can do almost everything I used to do, but inside my head, that took much longer to heal. I felt like I wasn't the same person anymore. I didn't know how to be around people who knew what had happened to me." Rosa listened quietly, her hands folded in her lap. "My husband was in the military too," she said after a moment. "He came back from his service with wounds that nobody could see. Different from yours, but still very real. It took him years to feel comfortable talking about his experiences." Alex looked at Rosa with new interest. "Your husband was a veteran?" "Yes," Rosa said with a small smile. "He served 2 tours before we got married. He used to have nightmares and would jump at loud noises. For a long time, he felt like he didn't fit in with civilian life anymore. But slowly, with time and patience, he found his way back to feeling like himself again." "How did he do it?" Alex asked. How did he get past feeling broken? Rosa thought for a moment before answering. I think the biggest change came when he stopped trying to hide his struggles and started accepting help from people who cared about him. He realized that the people who truly mattered didn't see him as broken. They saw him as someone who had been through something difficult and had survived. Alex felt tears forming in his eyes. I've been so afraid that people would treat me differently if they knew. I thought they would see me as less than I used to be. Can I tell you something? Rosa asked gently. Alex nodded. I've been working in your apartment for months, and I could tell that something had happened to you. The way you walked sometimes, the special equipment in your bathroom, the way you always wore long pants even on hot days. But you know what I noticed most? What? Alex asked. I noticed how hard you work, how polite you are to everyone, how you helped Mrs. Rodriguez carry her groceries last month when you thought nobody was watching. I noticed that you always pay me on time and treat me with respect. I noticed that you're a good person who cares about others. Those are the things that matter, not whether you have 2 legs or 1 leg or use a wheelchair. Alex wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. I never thought about it that way, he said. I've been so focused on what I lost that I forgot to. Think about what I still have. Rosa stood up slowly. Would you like me to give you some privacy to get dressed? I can wait in the living room while you put on your leg, and then maybe we can have some coffee and talk more if you want to. Alex looked at his prosthetic, then back at Rosa. Actually, he said, would it be okay if I just put on some pants and we talk like this? I'm tired of hiding this part of myself from someone who has been so kind to me. Rosa smiled warmly. Whatever makes you comfortable. I'll go make some coffee while you get ready. As Rosa left the room, Alex felt something he hadn't experienced in 3 years. For the first time since his injury, he felt truly accepted by another person. Not pitied, not treated like he was fragile, but accepted as he was. When Rosa returned, with 2 cups of coffee, Alex was sitting in his living room wearing comfortable sweatpants. His prosthetic was clearly visible, but for the first time, he didn't feel the need to hide it. Thank you, Alex said as Rosa handed him his coffee. Not just for the coffee, but for not making me feel ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed of, Rosa replied, sitting across from him. You served your country and sacrificed for others. That's something to be proud of, not ashamed of. They talked for hours that evening, sharing stories about their lives, their families, and their dreams for the future. Alex learned that Rosa's daughter wanted to become a nurse, and Rosa learned that Alex hoped to expand his design business someday. By the time Rosa finally went home with her keys, both of them felt like they had gained something much more valuable than they had expected. Alex had found someone who saw him as a complete person, and Rosa had discovered that her quiet employer was actually someone with incredible strength and courage. Neither of them realized it yet, but this unexpected evening had planted the seeds of a friendship that would change both of their lives in ways they never imagined possible. 3 weeks after that life-changing evening, Alex's apartment felt completely different. Not because anything had physically changed, but because the atmosphere of secrecy and careful distance had disappeared entirely. When Rosa arrived for work on Monday morning, Alex greeted her at the door wearing shorts for the first time since she had known him. Good morning, Rosa, Alex said with a genuine smile. How was your weekend? It was good, thank you, Rosa replied, noticing how relaxed and confident Alex seemed. Lisa finally finished her science project. She was stressed about it all week, but she did a great job. Alex had been hearing stories about Rosa's daughter, Lisa, ever since their long conversation 3 weeks ago. He learned that Lisa was 16, loved science, and dreamed of becoming a pediatric nurse. Rosa was incredibly proud of her daughter, but worried about how to pay for college. What was her project about? Alex asked, genuinely interested. She studied how different types of music affect plant growth, Rosa explained as she unpacked her cleaning supplies. She played classical, music to some plants, rock music to others, and kept some in silence. The classical music plants grew the tallest, Alex laughed. That's fascinating. Lisa sounds like a natural scientist. Has she started looking at colleges yet? Rosa's expression became a little more serious. She has, but college is expensive. We're trying to save money, but it's difficult. I've been thinking about taking on more cleaning clients to help build up her college fund. This gave Alex an idea, but he decided to think about it more before saying anything. Over the past few weeks, he and Rosa had developed a comfortable friendship built on mutual respect and understanding. Alex didn't want to overstep any boundaries by offering help that might make Rosa feel uncomfortable. Their new friendship had brought unexpected benefits to both of them. Alex no longer felt the constant stress of hiding his prosthetic leg. When Rosa was in the apartment, he could move naturally, wear comfortable clothes, and focus on his work without worrying about maintaining a perfect image. Rosa, meanwhile, felt more relaxed, knowing that Alex trusted her completely. She could work more efficiently without worrying about accidentally discovering something private. More importantly, she had found a friend who genuinely listened to her stories about Lisa and seemed to care about their family's well-being. The changes went beyond just their working relationship. Alex started inviting Rosa to take coffee breaks during her cleaning days. They would sit in his kitchen for 15 or 20 minutes, sharing stories about their lives and laughing about funny things that had happened during the week. Alex learned that Rosa had been working as a housekeeper for over 10 years, ever since Lisa was small. She took pride in her work and had built a reputation for being trustworthy and thorough. Many of her clients had become like extended family to her, and she often helped them with tasks beyond just cleaning. Rosa learned that Alex's graphic design business was growing steadily. He had several regular clients and was starting to get referrals from satisfied customers. His dream was to eventually hire other designers and build a small creative agency, but he was taking things slowly and carefully. One Thursday afternoon, Alex was working on a particularly challenging logo design when he heard Rosa's vacuum cleaner shut off earlier than usual. He looked at the clock and realized she had been working for less than 2 hours, which was unusual. Alex found Rosa in the kitchen, sitting at the table with her head in her hands. She looked upset about something. "Rosa, what's wrong?" Alex asked, immediately concerned. "Are you feeling sick?" Rosa looked up, and Alex could see that she had been crying. "I'm sorry," she said, wiping her eyes. "I didn't want to bother you while you were working. I just got some difficult news." Alex sat down, across from her. "What happened? Is Lisa okay?" "Lisa is fine," Rosa said. "But I got a call from Mrs. Peterson this morning. She's one of my regular clients, and she's been with me for 4 years. She told me that her daughter is moving in with her next month, and her daughter wants to do the cleaning herself to save money. Mrs. Peterson was very kind about it, but that's going to be a big loss of income for me." Alex felt bad for Rosa. He knew how hard she worked and how much she depended on her regular clients. "I'm so sorry, Rosa. That must be really stressful, especially with thinking about Lisa's college expenses." "It is," Rosa admitted. "Mrs. Peterson paid me well, and I was counting on that income to help build Lisa's college fund. Now I'll have to find another client to replace her, and that's not always easy." Alex had been thinking about his earlier idea, and this seemed like the perfect time to bring it up. "Rosa, I have an idea that might help both of us. But I want you to know that I'm offering this as a friend, not because I feel sorry for you. You're an incredibly capable person, and I respect your independence." Rosa looked curious. "What kind of idea?" "My graphic design business is getting busier, and I've been thinking about getting help with some of the non-design work," Alex explained. "Things like organizing client files, scheduling meetings, sending invoices, and keeping track of project deadlines. It's not full-time work, but it would be several hours a week, and I could pay you well for it." Rosa's eyes brightened with interest. "You mean like being your assistant?" "Exactly," Alex said. "You're already organized, reliable, and professional. You understand business because you run your own cleaning service, and I trust you completely. It would be perfect." Rosa was quiet for a moment, thinking about the offer. "Are you sure you're not just trying to help me because you feel bad about Mrs. Peterson?" Alex shook his head. "I've been thinking about getting administrative help for months, even before Mrs. Peterson called you. Ask Mrs. Rodriguez. I mentioned it to her a few weeks ago when she asked how my business was going. This would genuinely help me, and it would give you some additional income that's more flexible than cleaning houses." "What kind of schedule were you thinking?" Rosa asked. "Maybe 10 to 15 hours a week to start," Alex said. "You could do some of it here while I'm working on designs, and some of it from home on your computer. We could work around your other clients and Lisa's schedule." Rosa smiled for the first time since Alex had found her upset in the kitchen. "That sounds wonderful. When would you want me to start?" "How about next week?" Alex suggested. "I can show you how I organize my files and what kind of tasks I need help with. We can figure it out together." As the weeks passed, Alex and Rosa's working relationship evolved into something neither of them had expected. Rosa proved to be excellent at organizing Alex's business affairs, and Alex discovered that having administrative support allowed him to focus more time on creative work and finding new clients. But more than that, they had become genuine friends who supported each other through both good times and challenges. Alex started attending Lisa's school events when Rosa's husband couldn't get time off work. Rosa helped Alex practice presentations for big client meetings. One evening in late spring, Alex was invited to a neighborhood barbecue. In the past, he would have made an excuse to avoid social gatherings. But with his new confidence and Rosa's encouragement, he decided to go. At the barbecue, Alex met several neighbors he had never spoken to before. When someone asked about his limp, Alex was able to talk naturally about his military service and his prosthetic leg. He discovered that instead of treating him differently, people were genuinely interested in his experiences and grateful for his service. Rosa arrived at the barbecue later with Lisa, and Alex was excited to introduce them to his neighbors. "Everyone, I'd like you to meet Rosa and her daughter Lisa. Rosa helps me run my graphic design business, and Lisa is going to be a nurse someday." Lisa beamed with pride, and Rosa felt touched that Alex introduced her as a business partner rather than just his housekeeper. It showed how much their relationship had grown and changed. As the evening wound down, Alex and Rosa found themselves sitting together on a park bench, watching Lisa play volleyball with some other teenagers. "Thank you," Alex said quietly. "For what?" Rosa asked. "For seeing me as a complete person from the very beginning," Alex said. "For not treating me like I was broken or fragile. For becoming my friend when I didn't even know how much I needed one." Rosa smiled. "Thank you for trusting me with your story and for showing me that unexpected moments can lead to the most meaningful friendships." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the sunset and feeling grateful for the chain of small events that had brought them from strangers to friends. Alex's canceled meeting, Rosa's forgotten keys, and a moment of unexpected vulnerability had created a bond that enriched both of their lives in ways they never could have imagined.